your child. I said, come, sisters, come and take back your child. This great.
Hello, 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 everybody. Hello. Welcome to GBC Women with Words. We're here again. Today is Thursday. Hope everybody's doing okay. Invite somebody to join us and watch the show with us. We're still celebrating the month of June. June month is the best month. June month have the most important people in there. I don't care what nobody says. It is what it is. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Agatha and Eva.
Hello, Blue Lip.
Yes.
Hello,
my
everybody.
Blue Lip too. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to GBC. I actually have on blue today because I wanted to make a statement for B.W. Harris Alumni Association. This weekend is the weekend in New Jersey. So I always like to compliment B.W. Harris because during my tenure as president of Cotton Alumni Association, I learned a lot. I would like to refer to them as they were trendsetters. Well, I learned a lot from them. There are a lot of things they were doing that I learned. So they're a little bit quiet. They got the St. Friskis people and the CWA people leading them, but I want to say I wish you all the best this weekend, and this blue and white goes to B.W. Harris School to have a very successful weekend. The blue lipstick was actually given to me by Eva. So thank you for your blue lipstick. I wore it today. Okay, how's everybody doing? Agatha, how are you?
I'm wonderful. It's Friday Eve.
Okay. Eva?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
All righty. Yesterday, Agatha celebrated her birthday. We hope you had a good day.
I had a wonderful time. I'm still celebrating.
Celebrate the whole month.
I certainly do. I took the rest of this week off, so I was off today, and I'm off tomorrow.
Well, we certainly saw that you look like you had a wonderful birthday. To everybody celebrating in the month of June, we have really, this month we really own it. Anybody coming after us, before us, they didn't even match what we were able to do at all.
Please. Y'all can't take September. Y'all can't
continue to celebrate fathers. It's June 29th. Tomorrow is the 30th, so tomorrow will be the last day we'll be celebrating the fathers. Fathers, we hope that we have appreciated all of you in this month of June. Today is a different show. We don't have any guests on the show today. It's just the three of us. We're here. There are questions that were turned in from you all, the audience, to ask. This segment is going to be strictly led and directed by Eva and Agatha. So I'm going to turn this piece over to them to take it from there. Please invite somebody. If you have questions, I'll be monitoring the feed also to read your question. Any question you got to ask, send it in, but we're going to take it from there. Over to you.
So first of all, thanks to everyone that submitted a question or a comment, a concern. Definitely, we would like to address all of them. But the disclosure, first of all, we're not experts. This is our own opinion and from our life experiences. So don't take this personal. Don't take it as, word. This show sometimes can be for entertainment purposes. So this particular show, I just want to put that out there. Don't say, Eva say, I'm going to pack my things and lead it, man. That's Eva's opinion if she says that.
Don't worry, let him pack it.
No, I just want people to know. So we try to take different categories so we can address, but we left one last question open. As Glendy said, she's going to be monitoring the chat. So if you do have a question, that wasn't addressed as one of the ones that we're going to talk about, by all means, please put it in the chat and invite someone. This is going to be interesting. So the first question, why are we still begging for money to bury our loved ones, especially for those that are in the diaspora? Ay, ay, ay. Eva, you want to go?
Yeah, I can go. I mean, oh, did I? Okay, my computer is acting up. Anyways, I've known for some experience, we're not to say all of us are the same, but a lot of us, and when I say us, not just Liberians, but I can say like Black people, building for the future, or some people live, paycheck to paycheck, putting that money aside every month to save for life insurance and stuff like that. They have to choose between this, or sometimes they might have to choose between that. Or I know personally from, people that are in my family and other people, that talking about that subject to parents sometimes is a very touchy subject for them. Oh, you want to kill me now? Oh, what are you bringing it one to me? You want me to die soon? So
Wow.
sometimes it could be that, or I know that, one of my family members, okay, she had the life insurance. She couldn't do it. So she was like, okay, let all the children pitch in, and help to pay for it. Because when somebody dies, especially here in the US, it's expensive.
It is.
It's very expensive. So if you don't plan for that, and to go out, putting out GoFundMe and this and that. And I've even know some family, they had the money, but they still want to come out and beg for some money. So there's different.
True. I agree I agree partially with what you're saying. There is this that let's look at what I'm going to speak for Liberians, okay? I know this is sometimes true for Nigerians because I have that side. For Liberians, a burial, when someone dies, our tradition requires some of us, to celebrate. So it's not just the cost of burying someone, right? Which is about 6,500 to 10,000 now, if you do the bare minimum. But it's also the repast, the wake, all the children clothes they got to match, the food they got to serve. For me, all of that isn't for the person that's dead. It's for the living. But if that's what you choose to do, then certainly you should plan.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your choice of sending your family off, you definitely should plan. And don't be going begging people. Don't add me to no group. Don't send me no Zelle information. Don't do any of that. And I'll go back to what you said about our people not knowing. It is true that some of the older people, even some of the younger people, don't want to hear about death. But there's two things that's sure. You're going to be born, and if you're born, you're going to die. So there's no ways about it. So that whole thing about, don't bring that death business to me, we have to find a way to educate our people, our family.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much I don't want to kill you. I want to be prepared should anything happen to you. People have lost their homes because someone died and they didn't plan. Yeah. So that's all part. And then there's the others that you say cannot afford life insurance. The bare minimum life insurance, you can get it for $9.99. I know some for $19.99. There are different types of life insurance. You should invest. If you're rocking around with Gucci shades and Louis Vuitton bags and all of that kind of crap, you can put $20 aside to buy some life insurance just to bury someone, as opposed to going on social media and asking people to donate. So that's my 2 cents. Anthea?
I think for me it's different. I think everybody is different. I think some people can afford it, some people cannot. I think if I have it and someone asks, I would give it. I wouldn't judge them, because sometimes I had a close family member who died, even though the kids could afford it. The person came to the country, to the US late, and they couldn't afford to bury the person alone. And so, yes, they had some money, because even with life insurances, sometimes some of our elderly people, parents and stuff they have comorbidities that will not allow them to get a certain amount. Because I know the situation for my mom. So it just depends. And sometimes some people, whether I don't, there are some people who genuinely don't have it and they need assistance. And then there are some people who have it and they just need an extra cushion. So for me is, if I have it to share, I'll share with you. If I don't, that's okay. But everybody's situation, I mean, yeah, sometimes it looks bad, but everybody's situation is different.
Absolutely.
So if I can, I'll assist them. I mean, that's how I look at it.
I totally agree. And again, this is our opinion. So each of us will have a different opinion about the same matter, and that's why we bring it up. So, the bottom line is, this question is out there, so definitely it's come about a couple of times. And thanks to Sano for putting that question in the chat. Think about it. If you don't know and we've provided you some information, do some research. I mean, if it's just burial, certainly $9.99 a month, you should be able to afford that. If you
Colonial
can't,
pen.
huh?
Colonial pen.
There you go. And if you can't, as Glendy said, for whatever reason it is, certainly then of course you got to do what you got to do. Glendy is more than willing, able, and want to give. Me, on the other hand, if depending on the circumstance, I typically don't donate to that. That's just me. All right. So, question number 2. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Kika is did I say that right, Kika?
Kika. Mm-hmm.
Kika, thank you for your question. The question says, why do men or women stay in abusive relationships? And I think we've talked about this some before, right?
Yeah, I think we had almost a whole show. I think it was the last time we were here by ourselves.
Maybe,
We talked about it.
Yeah, and men and women. So I like that Kika put men or women, because oftentimes we don't hear about men being abused. If they are, they don't say so.
No.
So I'll start with Glendy first. What's your take on that? Why do people stay in abusive relationship?
So I mean, sometimes when we're looking from outside, we see what people who are in the relationships don't see. So you can be looking from outside and saying, "Oh, that woman is being abused. That man is doing this." You can interpret abuse. However, some people stay in relationships because they don't recognize they're being abused. There's so many different forms of abuse. There's mental abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's physical, there's sexual, there's just so many. Some people stay in relationship for so many different reasons. I think for me, it is when people are being judgmental on other people's relationship and wanting to interpret what that person is going through, and not understanding why they stay in relationship until you've been able to walk somebody's shoe. Yes, I mean, if you know for a fact this woman is telling you over and over, this man is beating me, there may be a reason why, or this woman is doing the same to this man, being aggressive, being abusive, beating him up. Sometimes we don't understand what that person is going through, and we don't understand how difficult it is for them to leave. And we will say, oh, why are you staying in that relationship? But if that shoe was to turn around on your foot or feet, you probably would do the same thing. You probably would stay in there. So it's kind of hard to really respond to that question factually, to say, why do people say? I think it just depends on someone's situation, or it depends on how they're interpreting what they're feeling. And they may not even recognize the situation that they're going through. It's a form of abuse. Until they recognize it and leave it, then that's on them. But I think people stay because maybe they haven't reached to that point or the limit where it's an abuse and I need to get out.
Yeah, absolutely right. Eva?
I agree with what Glendy said. They stay for various reasons. Some people stay because, especially if it's like physical abuse, they're afraid. If they leave, the person might threaten them.
Yep.
Some people say, okay, I'll stay, maybe for the children till they get out of college, till they get out of high school.
Right.
Some people, I mean, it's different reasons, and it's their reasons. And like the last time when we talked, you can try your best to say, oh, try to talk to them, but until they're ready,
Yeah.
just listen. That's all you can do. Listen to whatever it is that they have to say. My only thing is, don't come be telling me, oh, I'm leaving, and then next thing you go 2 minutes later, you're back. Then don't call me at that point.
Yeah.
You won't stay where you want to stay at, which I'm fine with, but just don't mix me up and I don't want to be there.
Yeah, I really don't have much more to add to what both of you said. I agree. It depends on the person. I do have a story that I would like to tell. I know of a young man that's being verbally abusive. He's being abused by this young lady. She's only verbal. She makes him feel less than, she talks down on him. You know, and he stayed. He's still there. And then when he calls and I, talk to him and encourage him, I never say leave. I always say you deserve better. No one should be spoken to like this. That is not true what she's saying. Somebody else could pick you up. Just try to respond with positive messages against whatever she's telling him. He finally decided he was done. Enough is enough. He was going to leave. And he left after she had publicly disgraced him.
Wow.
And he left. 8 weeks later, he was back.
Oh.
And the abuse started almost immediately after, maybe 2 days. And it was back to my phone. And the only thing I really could say was, you deserve it. And I know that was cold, but to have muster up courage to leave and then come back, for me, I just couldn't understand it. Maybe that wasn't the right thing for me to say. But at that moment, that's what I felt. And that's what I said. And then I listened on for a while and the abuse continued. Now he's gone. He's gone again. So let's see how long. It's been maybe 6 weeks now. So we'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, it all depends on the person, and they have to realize when enough is enough. Or like Glendy said, recognize that, hey, I'm actually being abused and I don't like this, for it to make a difference. Some people don't know. Some people just don't know.
So we have a few comments on that question. Kromai is saying sometimes a woman might stay because of their children. Some stay because of dependency. They might be afraid to make it on their own. That's true. I actually have a cousin one of my eldest cousin who actually just got divorced after 49 years of marriage. Ooh. 49 years. And it took a long time. Nini is saying some people are also afraid of social ramifications.
Yes.
From their inner circle. I think we talked a lot about this the last time. It's just like I say, we out there were judging people relationship. We say, oh, look at that one and that man. I always see with the person, oh, that one can be yelling out, oh, they don't hold hands together, or they don't go to places together. You don't know their situation, but sometimes when we do these things and we judge people based on what we see, it has a significant impact in them. And then so they become embarrassed and they're ashamed and they don't want to be able to come and face what society has to say. So that's the point. And Nini is saying also, Kroma is saying some may stay because of tradition and others because of religious reasons, which could be true. I hear Catholic people don't support divorce. I'm not a Catholic. I don't know if that's true.
That is true.
But I hear that. So that could be that. And then Nini also is saying some are afraid of starting over or think they can't find anyone better. I think that's true. People don't want to start over. Somebody look at age. Like me, I already old. Why can we find different men from all the one man they be thinking about?
Make yourself old.
Yeah.
Look at.
So it's like you're too afraid. It's like to starting all over again. So I think these comments keep it coming, folks. These are good comments. Welcome to all of you who are just joining us today. It's just us. We're answering different questions that you all put forward. So If you have something to say, we're monitoring the chat. We'll share and we'll read what you said. Um, I've learned, I don't know who this person is, Facebook user. I've learned the hard way and I've decided not to get involved. I was betrayed and used by someone who I genuinely thought was being abused and opened my home to find out I was being used to get the other partner jealous. And the
Ooh,
person went back. If only I was told the truth. That's
wow.
that is huge. And
That's
that's why some
scary.
people don't get involved in other people's
Exactly.
relationship. Because
Exactly.
it's like you come into then that person be a and I think man woman be say you can't turn inside.
Can't.
Yeah.
Because when you get in
All
that
right.
bedroom there, honey, in the rock talk, you say, honey, guess what he was here but you. Finish spoiling the story now. But I think it's like what we see, what we say also have an impact on the people. People ask questions like somebody asked me one time, why were you still married 29 years and got divorced? Well, it took me 29 years to get to that place. And once I got there, that was it. So you
Right.
don't know my situation. You don't know what the next person have gone to. Peace of mind is important, is what I'll say to that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kika, for that question. We're gonna move to the next one. Why do Liberians? Okay, this one does not read right. Let me see if I can rephrase it. Why do Liberians become related to people when they are successful? So when someone is deemed successful, they have all of these family members coming out of the woodworks. And I have to clarify this. I don't think it's just a Liberian thing. I think it's a human thing because when you see, I used to work with this lady, oh my gosh, maybe 20 something years ago. And she used to carry a picture with she and Denzel Washington. And this picture was so old. And that was her claim to fame, that she was related to Denzel Washington. And that was the
Yeah.
only picture. And that was, way back when they were like teenagers, she would care. So it's, how you have family members and you don't keep in touch or whatever the case may be. But she would physically take this photograph with her for years, claiming that. So I find that interesting. But to say that is to say it's not only Liberians. Eva?
I mean, people want to be connected to, I guess, famous people for whatever reason. Um, like I'm gonna use this as an example. What's her name? Story. Just Sam. When
Hmm.
Just Sam came out, when she went American Idol, oh, every Liberian person knew her. They wanted to be close to her. They wanted to be whatever. But when she did not make it to that level, I guess that they wanted her to make it
Hmm.
to, then she became, you know, they didn't want no her again. They didn't want anything to do with her again or whatsoever. And sometimes it's a bad thing. Like even some of the athletes that you see when the kids them are doing their little high school thing, they be asking for money to do this, to do that, to do I don't
Yeah.
nobody know that. So now they make the pros. Okay. Everybody want to know and everybody want to be associated with them. They want this, they want that, they want to get close to them. Like you said, it's a human thing. I don't think it's right, but I think it's just human nature.
Yeah.
But I also want to think that that is also subjective. As I mean it can be some people want to identify with some people because they have certain things. Some people it just happened that maybe you didn't know me or you didn't know I was close to this person. Now when I'm saying it now, you're coming up and thinking that I'm connecting with them for fame. But depending on what we do, um everybody wants a piece of the pie they did not help to bake.
I like
Earning,
that.
which is true. Some people do that. It's like you don't know them before, and then all of a sudden you're making this huge noise about it. I want to
Right.
touch a little bit on the just Sam thing. I've never, I have never met Just Sam. Even up to today's date, Michael Patmo and I, with all the work we did for Just Sam, we've never sat in the same room with her. We identified with her and we helped her because she was a young woman who needed someone to stand with her and to be able to help her. Until today's date, with the community, her grandmother continues to call. We're in contact. I talk to Justin every now and then, but we've never had an opportunity to even sit with her. And people even now, like Eva said, with the fact that things have not turned out the right way, some people who probably was just identifying with her because she was a Liberian and she was became an idol. Now it's like they're saying the worst thing, but what they continue to forget is that this is a young woman who have now made a wrong turn. We continue to keep in touch with her, but sometimes people they want to be identified for some, and some people are surprised when I say no, I have not been under the same roof with Justin. They don't believe it. They just think it's an impossibility that I said that I haven't met her physically.
All right. And this is from Letty Brooks Roberts. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't even make up my own handwriting, y'all, so forgive me. All right.
A question from the group.
I know, right? No, I had to write it down because I didn't want it to popping up. All right. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Is that true? This is from Banja.
That's a tough one. From my experience, for me personally, yes. You know, especially if that person is not checked. I don't know. For me, it's something internally or whatever it is that's wrong with them that, okay, like you have a wife at home and then you just out in these streets doing this or doing that. For me personally, I can't bring myself to trust you again. So for me, that statement is true because I don't even care what you tell me. I don't want to hear it because all that's in my mind and whatever it is what you did. To say, okay, let me try and move past it. I don't know. I've never moved past it before. So I don't know if I'm going to start moving past it in my age I'm at. So yeah, I say it's true.
Glendy?
I don't think it's true. I want to be fair to men and women because men and women cheat. I think the notion, I think it's like, and Kruma is saying it better. That's exactly, human behavior is dynamic. It's like, and I also want to connect this particular human behavior to Liberians. Like people say Liberian people, when God made everybody, then they made Liberian special. Liberian people as a whole, we have first impression is what is, that's it. Once I make an impression upon you, I don't care what the hell I do to you again, it ain't gonna change it. And that's how I tend to look at people who are cheated. Somebody may be dating somebody else and they cheated. And then they may decide that I'm not going to do it, and they meet somebody else that they fall deeply in love with and they don't do it. And I don't think the statement is true because I think people do things at a certain time in life because of some people. It may be true for some people, but I don't think it's true for everybody. That the notion that once a cheater is always a cheater, I don't think that's true because I think people react a certain time in life to things differently. So it also, like I said, also depends on your experience. If you've had a cheater, it's going to be hard to break from that. It's going to be hard for me too, but that's not to say that every man I meet is going to cheat, or not. Just not to say for that man who had a woman that cheated on him that every woman is going to cheat. So I don't think that's true.
I want to go back to something you said, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'm going to allow you the opportunity to clarify it for me, Glendy. You made a statement of he was with one woman and he left that woman, or the woman cheated, or he cheated, and then he went to somebody else. And because of the love that he felt for that person, so he didn't cheat. So are you saying that the person he cheated on was her fault?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are several reasons as to why people do things. So I don't know the dynamics in their home. I don't know what caused him to want to go out. I don't want to look at it like cheating is hereditary or cheating is an inborn tendency or people were born or people were made to be cheaters. I don't want to look at it that way. I'm just saying people react at certain things in their life to different things, and I want to look at cheating that way, that I may cheat with John, but then I'll meet Peter, and I don't want even Fly to touch Peter, and I want to be with him always. So, but I don't think it's fair for me to say because I cheated before, I'm always going to be a cheat, or that person will always be a cheat because they cheated once. I don't think that's a fair thing for me.
And I don't think it's fair equally to say if someone's dating me and they cheated on me and they go somewhere else and they don't cheat on that person, is because of the relationship they have with me versus the other person. I don't think that's fair. The notion of cheating is it's on the person that commit the act, not the person of whom the act is committed against. So I want to make sure that we're on the same page. Or we may not be on the same page with it, but I still hear that, and kind of bothers me that someone would think that because the relationship we had caused you to cheat. No, you cheated because you wanted to cheat.
I mean, you can say that, but I still feel that there are certain reasons why people do certain things.
Absolutely.
And then there are people that you will talk to that will say, because he did so and so, or because she did so and so, that's the reason why I did this. So it can still still be that. There are several comments on there. Let me just read. I do believe that some people genuinely do make mistakes, but patterns become habits, which become character for a lot of people. That's Nini. Maurice is saying, I cheated before, but I'm not cheating now. Moses is saying, is there a cure for trauma? If yes, what is it and how long does it? Oh, no, this is a different question.
That's
We're
a whole
talking
nother
about cheating
question.
now. He says, this is Kromai again, and I appreciate you, my brother. I will not cheat on my wife. I love her dearly. And this is Nini and in a cheating segment. I think more people should be open to polyamory. Is
Polygamy.
that maybe it's spelled polygamy. So if you tell me that's your lifestyles and you desire what more than one person, then you can go and find that and leave us monogamous people alone, which is true.
So
Once
let me
again,
give my 2 cents before we move on to the next question. Once a cheater, always a cheater. There's some truth to it, but there's also some false statement to that. One cheats for different reason. However, if you see a relationship or life, there's some people that sees life as black or white. There's no gray. If you see life in that manner, once a cheater is always a cheater. If you see life as gray and not always black and white, then once a cheater is not always a cheater, meaning there are gray areas that people can change. People did it for a certain reason. People made a mistake. And the list goes on. But I'm a black and white person. I believe if you're a cheater, you're a cheater.
well,
All right. So we can take questions from the chat if there's one. If not, we will go down to the next question in
Do we
the.
want to do Moses' question?
Sure. I don't see it. Where is this question?
Is there a cure for trauma? If yes, what is it and how long does it take for the cure to be demonstrated or manifested?
That's a great question, but there is not a one answer to that question. There's so many dependencies and variables. Trauma, you can be cured from trauma, depending on what the trauma is. Is it biological? Is it something physically happened to your body that, is it emotional? Is it mental? So it really all depends. And I would hate to say it depends, but because we don't have specifics, I won't be able to give my, opinion. The question is just too vague.
For me, like the trauma that people go through, I don't think it's more so of a cure. I think is finding ways to cope with it, because for that cure to come, that means you have to forget, to me, forget what happened, not even think about it, not even be able to, think about it. But we find ways to cope with whatever trauma it is that we have. Like people who have, PTSD, you find ways on how you can cope with that, because you're always going to remember what happened, but how your body responds physically and how you respond mentally to it, that's what you have to learn how to navigate that. Some people go get therapy. Some people find different ways, whether it's different devices. Some people even find negative ways of dealing with their trauma, whether it's drinking, it's smoking, is other ways to deal with it. But I don't think there's a cure. It's just, how do I deal with it? Do I want to deal with it, or do I just want to act like it never happened and just manifest it in other ways towards myself and towards others?
Yep.
Glendy?
So what I'll say to you, to Moses is, yes, what is trauma? What trauma are you talking about? Even some people it could be traumatic for them to even get dressed and go to work in the morning, depending on what the trauma is.
Yeah.
I don't think trauma can be equated to cure. I don't think there's any cure for trauma. I think people learn behaviors, and they like, or you could talk to a psychologist or a psychiatrist that can give you coping mechanisms to be able to cope with your trauma, and you're able to overcome what has caused trauma. Like for me, driving on the Bay Bridge is traumatic for me. I cannot.
What did Bay Bridge not do to you?
I cannot do that. So even about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went to. I just can't do hills. I cannot do.
So that's different, though. That's a phobia. It's a fear of.
I cannot do, whether it's phobia or not. It's traumatic for me. I'll tell you why I say it's traumatic. It's a phobia, but it's also trauma when I do it. I went to Philadelphia 2 weeks ago for training. And I got on this road where I had to, it's called Skyscraper. There are no barriers. It's way up there. It's lots of rocks. It's somewhere behind West Virginia. And I was up on that road driving. I freaked out. I think I was driving like 5 miles an hour. And it took me 2 days to recover from that. 2 days. It was, even now as I talk about it, when I think about it, I picture it, it's still, so even whenever I'm even going to Delaware, I do not even use Bay Bridge. I just don't do it. So for me, that's something that causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. It's very stressful, and it's very dramatic for me to drive on hills. I don't do that. So
what
it's
is the underlying cause of it? Have you identified that?
I just have fear for heights. I have fear for heights.
He has a phobia.
Yeah, that's a phobia that causes a trauma for me. It's traumatic for me whenever I do it. It's a phobia, yes, I get it. But it causes some serious trauma. I don't do it. I try, and the only reason why I got is like, unless it happens to me, when I see it, it's like I was driving and then boom, I saw the road. But if I had any other choice to not go there, I would not. And rest assured, by the time I got down that hill, I stopped. I called my boss. I said, listen, I have to come here again. It's going to be a flight, or it's going to be an Uber. I cannot do. I'm telling you, I was sick from that. But it's in short, people don't get cured. There's no cure for any traumatic event. People learn how to cope, and and some of them overcome the trauma. But for me, that's something that causes great stress for me.
Okay. Do we have another question from the?
No, I didn't see any other ones.
Okay. There was a comment from the page earlier that this page, I swear. Y'all, hold on, let me find it. I'm telling you, some of the things there I see.
Let me just read some of the comments while you're looking.
Okay. I,
Leandre, is that the way? Legendary Miller said, wow, just stumbling upon this, so refreshing, a breath of fresh air. Whew, you know what I mean? Moses says, thanks to you guys for the matured and great responses to keep the question in context. Out there, a cure for a person that was sexually violated or abused.
so he's talking about sexual trauma. Now that's a
Oh.
whole different ball game. That's a whole different ball game. But
Adam Moses, I'm gonna just answer that question without even going into any other thing. I don't think there's a cure for that.
there's
I
no
don't think
cure.
Learn how to
anybody
cope.
ever overcomes that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Learn how to cope.
And you know what? This segues right into the next question. Why are we still protecting pedophiles in our family?
Hi, Yaka.
It's a big one.
Ooh, child.
I don't know anyone close to me that has that issue. But growing up, I did know of a schoolmate that was being abused. And pedophilia is sadly a pandemic in Liberia.
Mhm.
I don't know about anywhere else, and this is my opinion, don't come to me for it. Pedophilia is a pandemic in Liberia, within the Liberian society. I was reading the back and forth, and Miss Miara Famula said some of them leave from over there, meaning leaves from the state, and come to Liberia to chase underage children. And let me just correct this: it's not only girls that are victims. There's so many young men that are being abused by adults, and it never gets reported. It's not as spoken about as it is. And I know we've talked about this a few times. My personal opinion is our tradition is everybody is your cousin. Everybody is your family. This my brother, call him uncle this my auntie, call her, and none of that crap. We need to stop that. I mean, forcing a child to sit on someone's lap, to give someone a hug. You have to pay attention to your children. And when your children tell you something, believe it. I met a young woman that told me that her father molested she and her sister for years.
Mm.
And her mother knew.
Oh, yeah.
And when she talked to the mom or confronted the mom as a child, the mom kind of hushed her and told her, it wasn't true. She was a liar, blah, blah, blah. And she's a young woman now. She's lived with this not until she was a grown woman with children of her own. She refused to take her girls to her parents' house and was finally able to confront her mom as an adult and said to her mom, no, I am not lying. He did it to my sister as well. She's not lying, and you knew about it. And she was able to really stand up to her mom. Unfortunately, her father died, but the mom still never admitted that her father did that. And because of that, that relationship is very strained, very strained. So, there's just some really sick people in this world. I don't know if there's a way that we can, you know, out all of them, but certainly we can try. For those of us who see wrong, we need to speak up.
Wanted to read what Nini said. There was something. What was the question?
I think she's talking about
The
the
question, yeah, people
why
feel like no one in the family could possibly do that, and it's such a shame on the family name that they rather protect the family name than protect the one who got
got
hurt.
hurt. Exactly.
I'll tell you a little story. I used to so back home in Liberia, my dad was the only boy of so many sisters. And so my sister and I, it was our family growing up was not the family that we never did spending time. Go spend time with your auntie or the other person. That was something my dad was not in favor of.
Sleepovers.
Never. You stay home. You're not going to spend time to nobody's house. So we never did that spending time thing. And then there was this weekend that my aunt wanted me to go and spend the weekend there. And I had gone to my aunt's. My aunt used to make peace be to her remains. It's where I learned how to make cake.
Cake I never eat.
We can taste for 10 years at a time.
My aunt was doing somebody's wedding, and I wanted to go there so we can go help stir the cake. Because back when we stirring the cake with that wooden spoon from scratch to finish. And while we were there, a cousin of mine had come, a guy cousin, and was trying to hug me and mistakenly knocked my butt. And my dad and I was close, so we were talking, and it felt strange the way he did it. So I was talking to my dad, and I said, "Oh, so person came here today, and the way he was playing with me, he knocked my butt, but he knocked my butt so kind of funny with my pasta packet things." Right now, he called that young man. He said, "I don't care whether you made a mistake or you make a mistake. You need to make sure you young boys don't hug young girls so tightly that they feel indifferent about that hug." And he took it so seriously. Why am I saying this? Is like, because I had an open relationship with my dad, I was able to tell him that there's some people, there are some things that are just a taboo in a family. That even the children, they suffer from talking. They like, it's almost like they already perceive that by the time I go to mama, she will say I'm lying. I lie. Or I go to papa, he will say I'm lying. And so the avenue is not created for them to be able to oust them. And then sometimes also it's with how educated are we about this pedophile thing, or back then or even now, that you want to even recognize when someone is doing wrong to you, and who do you go and tell? So sometimes I don't think it's like they're hiding. I think it's like they're afraid of the backlash. What they're going to say, my mom are going to say, "What? You can't lie on that man. Why you a liar?" And it's almost like the parents tend to believe the adults more, but this is a serious situation that everybody now, people you grew up with now they're having all of these traumatic experiences. They're remembering the things that happened to them because they never had an avenue to be able to oust them. So that's my take on it. It does happen. People are protective of names. Like Nini said, you want to hold, you want to cover your reputation, but I think it's wrong because children never heal from that. B is saying, "This is what I've been bothered with all week, a whole new topic. Why is it that most people in Liberia are not burying the dead on the ground, not burying the dead in the ground anymore?"
Well, we fit it with a pedophile one.
I'm just reading. So Nini said, we'll come back to AB. Once we start holding predators accountable more, maybe there will be less of it. It's about seeking out and identifying these pedophiles, whether you're friends or relatives. That is true. Gotta be able
to. I learned that people that are abused can also become abusers if they don't get help. So, if you're listening and you were one of those that got abused and you haven't sought help, I encourage you to do so. Really, it's important for us to heal ourselves so we don't take that out on someone else. Most people that are molesters were molested. So it's important for you to break that cycle and get yourself help.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to take Beatrice's question now. Why is it that most people in Liberia are not burying the dead underground anymore? All right. I worried about future epidemics.
Where they were burying them? Where they putting them there?
They're doing tombs, is what she's talking about.
Oh, the tombs. But as long as cement and stuff like that, is it enclosed? I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer. I mean, I don't know how to.
I don't know enough about it to.
I think
either way.
Is it?
I think people move with tradition. Maybe that's the new style now. You know how people you're getting married, and then you get married Saturday before. There was nothing on Sunday. Now you do Friday engagement, Saturday marriage, then Sunday cookout. That's water levels maybe. Yes, could you not in the ground? She said water. Yeah, Barbara is saying maybe because of water levels. You never know how they call it thing, algo thing.
Climate change.
Climate change
could be. I don't know.
Global.
I don't know. I just think maybe it's style. Everybody wants to bury their loved one in the tomb.
They do tombs here as well. I do believe there's a different way that they prepare the body for anything outside of the ground. Is the humidity, the temperature, all of that plays a role. So I honestly can't speak to what's going on in Liberia, and I will definitely agree with B, because Liberia is the way it is. I will worry as well of the potential health concerns that may happen as a result of that. We don't do things by the book. There's no standard for us to follow. So that's definitely something to be concerned about. What is this new trend? Are they preparing the bodies differently than when they put them in the ground? There's so many questions, but certainly one that maybe we can follow up on. But I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah, I think it's a public health concern.
It could be
for everybody, because it's like, and it's true. Every funeral that maybe I've stumbled on now, most of them people that I know is that they're all doing tombs. They're not doing deep. They're not doing 60 anymore. Maybe it will be closer for them to wake up on Judgment Day. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it concerns me too, because if you do because Liberia, with us being especially when you're closer to the sea and closer to the ocean, if you're not doing something like marble or something like that, and you're doing that cement, that erosion, eventually will break down that tomb. So there's a way in which you have to do it. I know I see a lot of the tombs here where it's marble, and they do it a certain way where it's like a lifetime thing. It doesn't break down. But if you're doing cement, and like you in Monrovia near the ocean, my people.
The mausoleum is normally used for that, but in Liberia, everything is different. Maybe one person did, and now everyone wants to follow. It's a problem. It is.
They got it from where? It ain't bury him in a mausoleum. Maybe they were trying to that trend from McGill mom.
But indeed, Betty, indeed, B, it is a health concern. Like Barbara is saying, there are graves flooding. So, it is true, erosion and all of those things, and of course, hopefully, we hope they're doing it right, but we don't know.
We can only hope, but absolutely a public health.
One day they buy it down with a place. We understand it.
Yeah. All righty. Any more questions? I don't have any more.
I think we have time to take one more if there is one.
One more. Okay. Any in the chat? I want to give the people online the opportunity first before going to the. Okay, we covered that one. Well, let's talk about this one. Geraldine wrote about what about having a program where our first generation and second generation Liberians, or African as a whole, a program developed for them to learn about their culture. And I thought that was a brilliant idea, and probably will run with it. So she and I have been talking in the background. But what do you all feel about that? Let's talk about Isaac. Would you send Isaac to a summer camp for a week with some of his aunties and maybe a few uncles to teach him about Dumb Boy? Why is it called Dumb Boy? Things that we did, like, would you be opposed to him learning what the thing we do? NAFO, having a NAFO competition, just things that are cultural, to Liberia, and teaching them that. Maybe let them go home making one meal, teaching them how to cook cassava leaf or palm butter, or, whatever it is their favorite thing is. How would you feel about that? Is that something you might want him partake in?
Yeah, I mean, like, even here in the house, I don't speak no American English like that,
Mhm.
he hears it. And speaking,
Yeah.
he hears it, and he's always interested. He's asking questions. Like the last time for his graduation, he went in the closet. He saw his African shirt. He's like, he wanted to wear that. So
Nice.
he's always interested in that, and his African, oh, I guess his African side. His dad is African American, but he's African too. So he's African all around to me. But no, I
Yeah.
think it'll be a great idea. Put the kids together, because I was watching something today about this lady, and she was talking about how, especially for the weddings, how a lot of people, Liberians and other cultures, are picking up the Nigerian attire, Nigerian way of getting married, instead
Yes.
of looking at their own culture and seeing how
Yes.
they can bring that out and
Yes.
using that. And that
Yes.
disturbed her. And it disturbs me too, because
Yes.
I mean, for me, I would love
Yes.
to learn how to speak Gola. I don't know it. My dad is Gola. I don't have a clue where to begin to do that, but I've always wanted to learn. So
Yeah.
yo, we sitting there with this much children trying to learn some small thing in my set.
It's funny you say that. Some of you may know my mother is Nigerian. My father is Liberian. Back in the, I remember in the 80s, but mom said when she first got to Liberia in the 60s, and my mother is from the Shakiri tribe. It used to be Delta State. I don't know what it's called now, but she would wear the whole regalia to go to church, tie her head, and she said the Liberian women used to be pointing finger at her, laughing at her, pushing mouth up. So fast forward this day and
Mm-hmm.
age, the same thing that girl was saying, I saw that. Mom's been saying it since Nigerian gilly has become a thing. To see Liberian women wearing it is just so funny to me, because I know I used to get teased because my mom was Nigerian, which is very stupid. But you know, but yeah, it will be good for us Liberians to be able to bring forth more of our own culture. And there's really nothing wrong in copying other African culture. However, you must give them the recognition that they deserve. That's my problem. We don't do that enough.
So I think for me, I'll say what I think. I don't think it's a bad idea, but I also think age would matter as to when you're introducing that.
Absolutely.
Because if you have, like my children, they could care too, whatever. They don't care right now. But anything like you say, they grew up in a household, they know everything, they know they eat Liberian food, they know all of that. So if you're growing with a child, maybe 2, 3 years or 3 years old, who grows their Liberian culture along with as they're growing their American culture, then that's important because they've learned it from a younger age. But kids that are old who have gone to school and people have said different things about Africa, it's kind of different now to want to change them. I mean, some of them, they know the difference because they see their parents, they can tell it's
Right.
going to be difficult. But if it's something you were saying, okay, like they have daycare, like they have the daycare, if you have something in there growing up and teaching them about the culture, certainly that will help. But it also is incumbent upon us parents. It's like how much of your culture have you instilled in your children? Like Eva said, my son, my kids speak only colloquial here. But when they were there, they were all born here. When they were their people, you can't even understand. I can tell them you're slow down for me. Let me understand that. I tell them all the time. What did he just say? Slow down. Sometimes they talk because my mom here, they talk to my mom. My son will say that the crew women they in like bro, all of them get hot time. He will say that to her. So it's like what have we allowed our children to grow up knowing about our culture? And how is it is what have we built so that when we're gone tomorrow, will they have enough interest to want to return to Liberia? What have we told them?
Some are
So
already now. We even get interest to want to return because
so that's the thing. So for
they
me,
pay there that kind of way, man.
So
But
for me, it's a good thing, but it's like if you start it at an early age, if you connect with parents, if you know Liberian parents that have young children, and you start a class and start as they're growing their culture fun. You take a 20-year-old, I look like my son's coming to 10, 20 and say, you can let me tell you, say, but why you tell else and now you coming and tell about Liberia? So it's a good thing. It's something worth. I would say it would be good. It would work if the kids were young. If you started it at a young age, that would be good. They'll appreciate both cultures. They can see it at the same time where they can be able to differentiate it.
For me, age wouldn't be an issue. I think if the child is interested to learn more, we can only teach what we know. And I'm gonna be the first to tell you there's a lot of Liberian things that I don't know. Growing up in Liberia, my mom was a single parent, and there was a lot of things we weren't allowed to do. I ate tabagi for the first time when I came to the States, actually. I didn't eat tabagi in Liberia because we weren't allowed to eat at other people's homes. All those different rules you had growing up. So, when my mom left to come to the States and when I came later, and tabagi is one of my favorite things, but we never cooked tabagi at our house ever. So I think it's up to the person, the child. It could be a young adult, it could be a young child, but I definitely will want to look into it and certainly explore that idea. I thought it was brilliant.
And I think now is the time, like Beatrice is saying, our kids listen to more African music now. They're
Absolutely.
yearning to learn more about the African culture.
Yeah.
I came here when I was 8 years old, and I basically, you could say, grew up here. And back then, being an African was not
It wasn't in.
accepted. Yeah. They call you all types, and I used to get in fights. African booty scratcher. Oh, the names, the bullying, the bullying, the bullying. And I even had one Liberian boy that I thought he was American until I went to Liberian party and I saw him sitting there eating kasali. And I look at him and he looked at me. I said, "Oh, so you teasing me in school? You said now eating kasali and speaking Liberian English." So
yeah.
So now that the culture is more
it's in style.
There, Afro beats and this, everybody, Beyonce, everybody wearing African clothes and African this, African that. I think this is the time, if you're going to do it, to do that and teach them the, not to say proper way, but what the tradition is.
Authentic
and the difference.
Way.
Like our what is it, country cloth. You see, I see more people getting married, like I'm saying, in the Nigerian attire.
Yeah.
Than using our, country cloth, which comes in beautiful
yeah.
Designs and stuff like that. So if you're gonna do it, this is the time for young or older. Myself, I want to learn myself.
Definitely, I am looking to it. I like stuff like that. So, just keep an eye out. Stay tuned. I might surprise you all. I see what Beatrice said. When I was in school in North Carolina, I had just come from Ivory Coast. I love Mewe. I love the Ivorian music, and that's all I used to play. And I remember being in the dorm and the kids telling me, "Oh, turn that thing off, man. I don't know why I want to listen," And I would now, and I love music. So when I'm cleaning on Saturday, I would play it. Whenever I was playing it. But yeah, I got told quite a few times that they didn't like my music. It wasn't music that they like. I should turn it off.
So put earplugs in.
To see it now on mainstream radio, it's just, I want to be able to see some of the girls and say, "Aha, I was way ahead of my time." Yeah, but we are over the hour, and we have covered quite a few topics. Again, strictly our opinion. None of what we said is from a professional point of view. It's based on our experiences and our opinion. So, Glendy, you want to take us home with one of your quotes?
So let me just I don't know. One of the Nini, don't feel bad that you can't speak any language. I grew up in Liberia and I can only say hello and how you doing in Boston. So don't feel bad about that.
I can't speak any language either.
But if I understand a little bit of answer, but I really cannot speak anything. Let
I
me
would
see
love
if
to
I can
learn.
find it here. And this one is always find somewhere comfortable to sit.
So where are you reading from? Can you promote this book or something?
Oh
You just
no,
give me a
yeah,
quote
read it then.
and
Then
being
drop it
what's in
right
that?
on out
What
there.
is this? Can you where are you reading from?
Um, I'm actually reading from. I will answer you outside of the post, not here.
What?
But actually, I will respond to your question after the show. But anyway, there is a quote books that I've written. It's my second book. It is a colorful quotes book of my life. These are actual quotes that when I was in some very tight spots, deep spots, I am a mind person. And that's why I'm so comfortable in my mind of being alone right now. It's going to be difficult to find a boyfriend because I'm happy here. And so, and I said it no joke,
Your body
seriously.
is lonely.
Yeah, that's fine. I love my body even more. So, so my quotes here is and these are real life quotes. The book is actually on Amazon.
Mhm.
It's the second book of 9 books that I'm going to write. The third one is ready. I'm just trying to figure out what cover to give that third one. That third one is when I make a lot more noise because that third one has a lot of stories in it, true story about my life. But this one is quotes. You can get it on Amazon. It's just they're really it's a simple and easy read. Um, Anywhere you are, if you put it in your, I travel with it in my pocketbook. Believe it or not, I read it speaks to me every now and then. So you can please, you can purchase one on Amazon, but we'll talk a little bit more about it. One day, Eva will interview me about the GBC people will interview me about this book, but I'm waiting yet until I get the true one where I can talk, where I can go in depth on my life story. Because I think the reason why, and I said something to someone the other day, no one can give you peace except you.
Mhm.
And no matter whatever situation you're in, whatever people what friends you have, what things people say to you, until you're ready to have peace, no one can give you peace. No one, no situation, nothing. And once you find that peace that you need and that you have, you're going to be able to, nothing else is going to matter. Whether you're like Ewa, if I had a boyfriend right now, I'd probably make her very happy. That's
What
something
yeah,
she's.
what that your business? Eh.
So I'm just saying that it's almost like you're so when you find that peace in your life, regardless of the difficulties and the challenges you've had, you will be able to just take life as it comes. And you have to
Right.
heal yourself first, because once you've healed yourself, others will be healed by what they see in you. And so that's what these books are. They have really helped me cope with my difficulties in life. A single mother now, happily divorced after 29 years. I can say it boldly, but it wasn't easy for me to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
fact I'm here, I'm okay, and I'm
Step by
happy with
step.
where I am. So that's where the quotes are coming from.
All right.
Talk a little bit more about it. I want to also say before we go, if you're in the New Jersey area this weekend, the BW Harris, they're having the Alumni Association. Please go and support them. I'm going to do a post and compliment them. I also want to say congratulations to CWA and to St. Friskies. I started school from convent. I was looking, and they've had such a successful 5 years of Stephen Kofar's leadership, almost over $500,000 they've been able to raise. That is commendable. That is, so if you're on here and you're from St. Patrick's and Convent, congratulations on what you've done. Amazing work to be able to. And what I like about it, and I'm sorry I didn't put the flyer up, I shared the flyer, is like, it is so, the work of Stephen Kofa and his crew is so transparent that I wish the
Yes,
Liberian government will learn from them.
yes.
Every penny is accounted for.
Hold on, let
And
me. I'm
so,
not too saying it's transparent, and when he's questioned, he doesn't upset. He responds to the people because the money he understands is not his personal money. It is that of the people
Not
that are
offended.
donating.
Yep.
So they have every right to request whatever documentation, and he never hesitates to bring it. Unlike others, but that's a different show. But this is some of the reason why Liberia is the way it is. Certain people feels that when they're in a position of authority, that position becomes theirs, that the funds available for that position to do the work of the people becomes theirs. This is why Liberia has a problem, right? And then we can get to the damn Congo and native people, because that's part of our problem, right? Certain people feel that Liberia only belongs to them, and that is not true. And until we stop this foolishness of thinking that we are better than others because we are from a different tribe, ethnic group, whatever the case may be, Liberia will continue to suffer. And I don't believe any one of us wants that. So we need to start holding people accountable. When someone does wrong, tell them, let them face the consequences. If they commit a crime in this country, persecute them. Don't tell me it's my friend or we're facing. No. The only way people will learn, we need to start making examples of people. And until that starts to happen within our small organizations, Liberia will never improve.
Yeah.
Mark my word.
And to the St. Patrick's and Convent, if you've given a dime, congratulations. Thank you for what you've done. Your work is so evident. And
you're welcome.
Just to close, I want to say that
you're welcome, Glendy.
Yes, I went to Convent too.
I went to Convent. You're telling me if I donated, I said you're welcome because I did.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You for your donations. And I want to, this is what I say. If you're in it, and there is one day where that's coming that I'm going to do a show by myself on Liberian associations. The reunion that we're in. The reunion that we're in.
I got receipts. I got receipts.
Let me finish my statement. I can't touch them.
It annoys the crap out of me that people stay in this country and do nothing with themselves, and they leech onto these different organizations.
We said, what's that now? Beatrice want to know that wine or what are you drinking?
That wine, I reached my quota for water. And besides celebrating my birthday yesterday was whiskey. Today I've been drinking wine all day from the morning I wake up to the night.
But on a serious note, I said to somebody just yesterday morning, if you're in a reunion, if you're in an association, and you see the people are doing wrong, and you're not able to tell them that they're doing wrong, but you want to hold the government of Liberia accountable, shame on you. Shame on you.
Don't say
you want to do friendship in a reunion because you want your friend to get upset.
No.
They want that friend to get in trouble.
You don't want to say anything about it when someone else says speak. Glendy speak and say, "Oh, Glendy always making that doing that." No, you must be
rude
from your backyard.
Or that's not your friend, because if you consider yourself to be a true friend, even if you saw them doing, you would go take them and you would say, like, "Hey, come to them directly and say what you're doing is wrong."
Listen, this is Liberia's problem. Somebody say it's Liberia's problem. We say Liberia in the sense of the noun, the people, right? There's this war. No one has paid for the crimes of the war. No one. It's been over 20 years. How many millions of people died? We were displaced. No one has been held accountable for the war in Liberia. This is what we're talking about. Foolish man, I don't even want to go there.
Me, I want. What I want, glass. Put it there, Mark.
Because this is the thing. We don't hold our people accountable. We do not hold our people accountable. People are stealing. They say, "Oh, the men are stealing. Let move him from there." No, don't move him from there. Don't move him from there. Take him to court, right? Yeah. Let him go through the justice system.
And every organization that I've known goes through it.
I really wanted to compliment Stephen Kofa. Great job. We are so proud of you. This is how you give back. This is what you do, raising almost $500,000. We got people with associations here, and you can see what they're doing for the schools in Liberia. But listen now, to the Convent and St. Patrick's people, well done.
Not to take away from Stephen, But Stephen couldn't single-handedly do this by
Yes,
himself.
he and his team.
He and his team. It's the people around him. There's no one that I see on that team that I know will see Stephen doing something wrong and don't say, Stephen, this don't look right, unless Stephen continues to go through that path. So it's not to take away from it, but it's the whole society, it's the people. So people keep speech from you if you try to make things right, right? Okay. Then you become the bad person. But we need to do that on another show, because
I really want to do it because I think people miss an opportunity to hold people accountable.
But when all of them are going to go to jail.
Yes.
All of them are going to go testify. Even today, I got
alrighty.
Then they call me. I'm going to
We're gonna be coming. We're gonna be talking. We'll wait for all the reunions to be over, and then we're gonna hit them. But we must do that. And I tell people, it's like when people hate you or when they talk the negative, I'm telling you, there's something about me that love negativity that it just ignites me. The more you hate me and you hate what I do, it's the more I do it. So it's like we have to be able to start from our organizations, holding people we know accountable. If the change we want in Liberia or anywhere it starts from us and it starts from there. So until next week, Thursday, we have a guest that's coming. She's gonna be, you will see her picture and stuff next week. She's gonna be coming. She makes candles, beautiful candles, scented candles. She's a young Liberian woman. Have a business. We'll see. Is it next week or week after? But you'll see next week. If you don't get, it's actually a flight. What do they call those people? They put that against flight agent or travel agent. She should be coming if she can make it next week. If she cannot, we will be back on here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking with us. You know what can start Agatha off when you start talking about alumni association. So go be supportive.
Alumni association is holding people accountable. That's
what accountability is true.
Accountability is what
every time those people they put it out there. Like Agatha said, if I'm paying you my money,
I want to know what
I ask you a question.
You must answer me.
Yeah.
When I get offended, if you get offended, you hide in something.
All right, folks. We'll see y'all. Bye-bye.